In this lesson, we'll look at relative and absolute paths to images that we wish to embed within our web page. In the previous lesson, we added an image to the file hubble.htm, which we can see in our web browser is essentially a title bar for this web page. What we'd like to do now is bring more images into this page and display them beneath the copy on our page. Like we said before, generally speaking, when we're putting images into our website, we have formatted those images already before we try to put the images into our page. We took an action prior to the coding of our HTML page. Whenever possible, you want to try to get into that habit. If we look in the Images folder in Chapter 4, you'll see that there's an image of Saturn, and that file is named Saturn 0402 _ Cassini _ big.jpg. If I double-click on that image, Preview will launch on the Mac, and looking at this image, I might determine that I wish to have this image inside my web page. Also, this beautiful image is out on a NASA web server. If I didn't have this file local on my machine, which we do, courtesy of NASA, I could refer to this file on the NASA server and embed that same file within my web page, just as we can embed, by way of an image link, which we've seen before, a local file. Let's take a look at how we do both. I'll quit out of Preview from the Preview menu and select Quit, or on the PC, File and Exit. And from the Project Files folder, I'll go into Chapter 4 and find hubble.htm and open that up in TextEdit by clicking and dragging the file onto the TextEdit icon. And I'll tile my windows so I can see all three, just to make things easy for me to navigate later on. And what I'm going to do is scroll down so that we can put the image of Saturn that's on your computer after our unordered list. And then we'll create another reference to that same image out on the NASA server. First, I'll add a title so that I know which image is which. We've done this many times already now using a heading tag. So in this case, after our unordered list, I'll add an H2 tag, and within that H2 I'll type image of Saturn from Cassini mission, local link, or more accurately path. And while I'm at it, I'll add another H2 with almost the exact same title, image of Saturn from Cassini mission, except this time I'll write absolute URL. We'll come back to absolute URL in just a moment. But for right now, I'm going to tab over again underneath my first H2, and I'm going to add an image tag that will point to the image of Saturn inside the Images folder in the Chapter 4 folder. As we saw in a previous lesson, the syntax for an image tag is img space, and then the attribute src equals quote, quote, space, / close caret. We need more attributes than this to have what is referred to as valid HTML, but we'll come to those additional attributes in a future lesson. For right now, we just want to get this image into the page. And since we know the relative location of the hubble.htm file is on the same directory level or same folder level as the images directory, the local path to the image of Saturn is images / Saturn 0402 _ Cassini _ big.jpg. Now if I save this file, switch over to my browser and reload, and scroll down, I see my H2 title and then this huge big image of Saturn. I even have to horizontally scroll over to see the entire image. If I keep scrolling down, I then see the second H2, which we see right next to the image here in our HTML file. We'll contend with the size of this image in a future lesson, but for right now, we now have a local path displaying this image in our web browser, which I can see here if I scroll up a bit. But I also happen to know that this very image is out on the internet, not just here on my machine. If I want to create an image reference to an image out on the internet, I can do that using the same syntax as we've seen before, but with a little bit more information in our src attribute. After the second H2 title, which we created a few moments ago, enter the syntax for entering an image, which we've seen is img, image tag, src, source attribute, quote, quote, space, /, close caret. Now, within the quotes, this is where you would enter the absolute path, the complete web address to the location of the file that you wish to display on your page. Having gone out and visited a NASA server earlier, I wrote down the URL http://apod/apod/image/0403/Saturn 0402 Cassini_big.jpg. Now, if I save this file and switch over to my web browser and reload, I can see underneath the H2 for absolute URL, image of Saturn from Cassini mission, if I scroll down, I can see that image is again displayed on my page, except this image is coming from the NASA server, and the image at the top of my page, or further up on my page, is coming from my local file. Same image, two different locations, both brought into our page using the image tag. The only difference being that in our absolute path, I've included the protocol, web server address, and directory structure of the remote machine inside my src attribute, before the name of my file, where all I needed to do to reference the local file was use the word images and /.